Welcome back to the Awkward Chronicles. My name's Larissa, and today we're going to be going over my July TBR. You noticed, this is my new setup. I moved. I have a book room, like slash office slash guest room. And I just finished putting it together today, and I am obsessed. I am so happy. I did do a little bit of vlogging, which I think will come up after this video, so look forward to that for the setup and stuff. But for the most part, it's done. I'm just so thrilled. I'm so excited. I just love looking at it. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Also, I need to fix Aragon because he's fallen over, which is annoying. Can you even see that up there? No, you can't. Yeah, there's one more shelf up above. Like I said, today I'm going to be going over my July TBR. Nope, not TBR. All the things I've read in July, because we're in August now, and I am behind in August. As I said, I moved, so I've been super busy with that, and I got a haircut, and I'm dealing with that issue right now. I mean, it was just essentially a trim, but it's kind of doing some weird, funky things right now that I don't know if I'm a fan of. So, whatever. I also have some things to show you guys, which I'm so excited. So, starting off, as I've mentioned previously, I've been struggling with finding like the perfect reading journal. I made my own out of like a bullet journal, and that was fine, but I got so annoyed with having to make it, and like it just wasn't fun for me anymore, and I was reading more than I was actually like writing in there and like actually filling it out and making the pages, and I should just like made the pages ahead of time, you know, but I'm too lazy to do that. I didn't want to. So then I'm like, you know what will be easier? Digital copies of the journal I made. And I was doing that, and I just, again, didn't really like it, didn't vibe with it. Again, it was more accessible because it was on my iPad, which I bring with me pretty much everywhere. But I found myself like not using it. I'm like, what if I do, because it just wasn't pretty, it wasn't fun. I'm like, well, what if I do somebody else's journal, like on Etsy, that's selling them for a couple bucks. And so I bought one for $3. I didn't use it hard. I think I used it for $2, and I said, this isn't for me either. So this has been such a journey. Then I was watching, oh gosh, what's her name? I was watching this girl I just found on the YouTube, and I really like her book channel, Haley Barber, and she had a discount code to some reading journal company, and I don't remember the video, sorry. I can't remember, I feel like it was just her name for the discount code, but I could be completely wrong, I don't remember. But it's this beautiful thing. Like, look at that embossing. This is what I've been wanting. Yes, there are some things like I don't necessarily need, but there's an index here, which is great. It has daily reading tracker, which I don't use because I do read daily, and then reading challenges, books to read, which will be all those books listed on my shelf. So there's plenty of the, but I think those go with the book challenge, so the reading challenge, so that's pretty cool. And then finished books with the star rating, and then there's like little bookshelves that you can also do, and there's a few pages of those. So I got the extensive reader because there's two different sizes. There's this size, which I think has 150 books or 100 books, I don't remember. And then there's the minimalist one, which is I think 50 books. And my goal is to always read 50 books, but I surpass it every year. And then favorite books, which is so great. So you can always recollect like your favorite books of the year or the month or something, which is so cool. And DNF page, which I've only done I think 2 this year, and why, and then books lent out and books borrowed tracker, which I rarely loan out my books because I nervous I'll never get them back. And then the review page where you can log your books up to date. So title, author, how many pages, like it has everything that I like in a tracker. Like, what did you think of the book? What was the most interesting, intriguing, challenging, or surprising? What are you going to take away? And then thoughts and quotes. And there's even like a recommended by and a recommended to, like little blurb, which I thought was really cool. So that you can always reference like, oh, who would I think would enjoy this? And that's the whole journal. And I'm obsessed with this pink color. I think there was another color. And I'm obsessed with this material. I'm just obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with, there's like little bookmarks. And, oh yeah, it's Kunitsa Co. Here, I'll get out of the frame. So I'm excited to start using this. I am going to backlog all of my stuff so that way I can reference it for the whole year, because I think this is just going to be a yearly one for me. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Next up, I was watching Olivia Reads a Latte, and she ordered bullet journals from this girl who I follow on Instagram, and they looked stunning, stunning. Well, again, she has a reading journal in there and she hand makes them and they're beautiful. I didn't need that extensive amount, so that reading journal right down there that I just showed you was perfect for me. However, I really loved the journal that girl used to make her bullet journals, and I am like 3 pages away from finishing like my diary journal, and I wanted a new one, and so I picked this bad boy up. I just got the line pages. There's also like dotted grid, I think. Found it on Amazon. It's kind of like a leathery style cover, and then just the, like I said, the line pages. So I'm very excited. I'm really getting into like more greens and neutrals. I still love my pinks, but I figured it would be nice to kind of have a different feel. And also it's kind of nice because like I said, I just moved, so I feel like I'm kind of having that fresh start phenomena that we all get when we do something new. And so that is going to be kind of this will be like that start for me, and I'm so excited. Kind of see, I do journal a lot. I haven't in the past week because I've been busy. I gotta keep an eye on the time because I am going to dinner and I need to leave in like 30 minutes. So let's unbox my book of the month. So this is August's book of the month. I'm really happy because I actually had it delivered to my new address and it showed up. So yay, we love that for me. I ended up picking Daisy Darker by Alessini. It's a thriller. It says, after years of avoiding one another, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny tidal island. They're finally back together one last time, and when the tide comes in, they will be cut off from the rest of the world for 8 hours. The family arrives, each of them harboring secrets. Then at the stroke of midnight, as a storm rages, Nana is found dead. An hour later, the next family member follows. Trapped on an island where someone is killing them one by one, the Darkers must reckon with their present mystery as well as their past secrets before the tide goes out and all is revealed. With a wicked wing to Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, Daisy Darker's unforgettable twists will leave readers reeling. I am so excited. Oh, I think I have when they were... Yeah, oh my gosh, I do have that book. One of my friends gave it to me. So I was really in the mood for a thriller. Also, there wasn't like a great romance selection. I just didn't vibe with all the other ones, and this one just sounded good. Obviously, Alessini is a repeat author with Book of the Month. Also, I'm not sponsored. I wish I was. Manifest that for me. And the bookmark this month is read like your TBR is watching. Oh gosh. I'm gonna be using that one quite a bit. Well, now that 10 minutes, is it 10 minutes? Yeah, 10 minutes has passed of me rambling. Let's actually get into what I read in July. Let me take a drink of water from my emotional support water bottle. and go drink some water too. Oh good, my camera's gonna overheat. Solid. So the first book I read in the month of July was Ghosts. First of all, this cover, 100% a cover buy immediately, and then I heard about what it was about, and I love this cover. This may be my favorite cover that I've purchased. It's got like that nice matte kind of feel. Oh, it's so good. This sent me into kind of a existential crisis. Yeah, it's about, is it Nina Dean. She is 30 years old and she is starting online dating for the first time. And she meets up with this man, Max is his name. She meets up with Max after conversing on the dating app for a while, and their first date goes wonderful. He's gonna marry her one day. Like, they had a great time, and when she got there, she was kind of a little put off by him. There were some few icks with her about him, but that was overlooked. And then so they go out, blah blah blah, start to date, and then he ghosts her. So I felt that real hard, and the ending is exactly what I was hoping for in this book. It also goes through touches on her friends and changing relationships with people in her life as they move through different phases of their life, such as one of her best friends growing up is now married with kids and trying to navigate that friendship still, even if they still want to be friends. It's a difficult discussion. Her other friend is single and just kind of hopeless romantic, keeps putting herself out there, keeps getting crushed by these men, but just continues on just hoping for love, and it's beautiful. And then also with her parents, her father has essentially Alzheimer's or dementia, and exploring that change in relationship with her parents and what he needs as well. And just, it's so raw and real, and like I said, it really sent me into an existential crisis after reading it, and I just had to like stare out at my parents' backyard for a solid long while, because I like wanted to cry of relief that somebody else knew how it felt, but also of sadness. And yeah, so warning on that, if you are sad of being single, this isn't a happy-go-lucky book, but it is very real in that aspect. So I did enjoy that. So after being sent into an existential crisis, I was like, I need something light and fluffy that I know will warm my heart. And so on my Kindle, I read The Cheat Sheet. And boy, let me tell you, okay, I loved it. So cute. It's a friends to lovers trope, and that's my favorite trope of all time. And it made me so happy. It was between a professional football player and a dance teacher now. She was originally going to be a dancer, a professional dancer, but due to an injury, she was unable to do that. And it just explores their friendship and both of them trying to break out of the friend zone, but both unsure if that's what the other one wants, and they both do, and it's so cute. It is a closed door romance, meaning there is no like descriptive spicy scenes, and to the extent that I would prefer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't spice. There is like some mild, like moderate spice. Also, the wedding that takes place in this book is exactly what I want for my wedding. I want that exactly. So when you get to that point, just tell my future husband that that's what I want, okay? Cool. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is the best sequel I've ever read. I read A Court of Mist and Fury. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was really happy with the first one and how everything ended, and she totally could have wrapped it up with that first book, and I would have been like, cool, that's pretty nice. I'm so glad she continued on writing the series, because this was amazing. This is the best sequel. Like, yeah, it's pretty long and I did space out in a couple spots, but oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. I'm so excited to continue on with the series. I know that this is ultimately everybody's favorite out of the series, but that doesn't mean that I'm not excited about the other one. Reese. Those cutie patooties. Cassie and Azriel. The found family in this is so phenomenal, and like you just understand so much more about Reese, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. I want to reread it again and tab it up. Tab that baby up, because holy schmoly guacamole, did I love this so much. I listened to Reese Witherspoon's Whiskey in a Teacup, like kind of memoir, I don't know what it was. I think it was supposed to be more of a coffee table book. She has recipes in there. She talks a little bit of her childhood and her being raised in the South and what comes along with that, and certain traditions and hosting. So it's definitely more of like a dinner party style book. The audiobook she narrates, which was fun. I think it would be like a good display book because the cover is really pretty and the recipes do sound really good for someone that does not have IBS and digestive issues. Next, I read the Bridgerton series, To Sir Philip with Love. This is Eloise's story, and she essentially is in her late 20s and is considered a spinster and starts corresponding with Sir Philip, who has 2 children. And one day, I mean, you find out in Penelope's story, you find out in her story that Eloise runs off. So this is like that continuation of when Eloise runs off to be with Sir Philip, and kind of like why she did it and all that entails. Wasn't my favorite. It was fine. I'm excited to read the last 2 because I've heard those are the best 2 out of it. So it kind of sandwiches. Yeah, but we're getting through there. We're getting through the Bridgerton series. It'll be great when the next thing comes out. Last on what I read this in July. It was Funny You Should Ask. Now this is everywhere, so if you haven't heard about it, I don't know what you're doing, because it's everywhere. And this is by Alyssa Sussman. And it is pretty much every fangirl's dream. So Chani, I feel like I'm saying that so wrong, and it tells you how to say her name correctly in the book, and I'm still not doing it correctly. She ends up writing this article about Gabe, trying to put him in the best light that he is the perfect fit for the new James Bond movie. And what happens is she ends up spending 3 days with him, and it's wild, and people are speculating that they slept together, that so much has happened. You get to see the article she posts as well as like the other articles based off of it, and follow his career. And she becomes a famous writer after that, and he goes on to be in a bunch of movies and then has a downfall where he goes into rehab, and now he's trying to build his career back up and be taken seriously. So they want her to do the interview again, which is like 10 years later or 12 years later or something. Some time has passed. It's apparently based off of a Chris Evans interview, or inspired by that, where the interviewer and Chris Evans apparently had like a lot of chemistry, and so I think that's what inspired this book, is rumor has it. And yeah, I really love this. Also, I really love this cover. So I really want to reread this and tab it up because it was so great. But also I don't know if I will or not, because I want to display it and I don't like when tabs are out on the side. So yeah, I want to display it right on the bookshelf. It'll look so pretty along with ghosts. Such a good reading month. It really was a really good reading month. And with that, I think that's gonna do it for us today. Cool.